she does really good with kiddos, yes.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Testing. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Testing.
I saw your picture. Yeah, you guys went to Kingston. Yeah, I grew up near Kingston. Oh, Kingston? Yeah. I was laughing when I saw pictures. Yeah. Terrified of heights and
That mic is yours. It's on.
we walk out on the.
Is she coming?
You looked over and you're like, oh. Then you know, you walk
When it comes up with something,
I just couldn't. Yeah, we come off and you didn't get back on. It's a lie. It is.
I don't care. I love when I get out. You said that's fun. You good? Mike's hot. Is that on? So I told him, oh, you want to go here? Let's see. Giving somebody tickets. Matters for what?
Some of them are running low. It changed out to 3 rounds. Check them out.
I don't know. I see. Yeah. Kathy Joe. Just catch up.
John, Chief said just go into executive session.
What?
Chief said just start your meeting and go into the executive session just so that I won't comply. He won't comply at all.
And then be what?
I have no idea. I'm glad Chief was just chilling.
Okay, so you call me before moment of silence from also student, and then executive session.
Salute to the flag.
Yeah, we're gonna do salute.
Gotcha. Yep,
This
that's fine.
executive
Sorry.
for legal.
Personnel and legal. I might as well just do my work. Thank you.
That's supposed to talk, so be careful.
Oh, and I'm going to ask to reserve my report until the board discussion item 17. But you can ask me now. Thank you, John.
Good evening, everybody. Time has passed, so if everybody rise and join the pledge, please.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this moment, or at this time, I'd like to take a few moments of remembrance for the loss of a student, please. Thank you. We're going to take a quick executive session for legal and personnel right now. Okay, we're back. First up is the approval of meeting minutes from October 12th. There's no objection, they will stand as they are. Okay. I am told we have a student activity report. This is your turn.
Make sure you turn the microphone on.
Yeah, on.
Yep,
Yeah,
should be
there
a
you
green
go.
light. There you go.
There you
Perfect.
go.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Kyle Anthony. I'm the co-president of the Athens High School Student Council. I'd just like to share a couple achievements that our student body has had in the past months and what's going on as far as fundraisers and whatnot. Just this past month and currently the class of 2022 is working on a chicken parmesan fundraiser. Class of 2024 is working on a soup fundraiser. Class of 2025 is working on a Krispy Kreme fundraiser. And the
Kyle.
History Club.
Thank you.
The History Club is working on Gertrude Hawk sales, grilled sticky sales, and maple syrup sales. And the FFA has their annual fruit sale. And in December, the Student Council is going to start fundraising popcorn in the high school. And the class of 2022 will distribute Krispy Kreme fundraisers. For past events, the Rho Kappa held their ceremony where 56 new members were inducted and 58 seniors were presented their honor cords. The FFA competed at the National FFA Convention and was awarded silver for the Athens FFA Agricultural Sales Team. Team members Alexandra Ayers and Caitlin Kistner placed silver as individuals, and Lacey Lynn Isham and Emily Brown placed bronze as individuals. The Athens cross-country team sent Matthew Gorsline, Emma Bronson, and Sarah Bronson to the state competition in Hershey this past weekend, and they did very well. Matt placing 142nd, and Emma placing 115th, and Sarah placing 99th. The Avidum I've Got Your Back Club is a new club at the high school that focuses on students' mental and emotional well-being. Ms. Goodman is the advisor and recently had talk training with members. And upcoming events, tomorrow morning we have the Veterans Day Assembly at the high school, where the Rho Kappa National Honor Society officers and members are continuing the Veterans Day Assembly. Veterans and guest speakers will be brought to honor our nation's heroes, and both Rho Kappa and History Club officers will be part of the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Quick question there for you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Want to introduce you?
I'm Secretary of Student Council Taylor Walker.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you
Kyle.
both.
Thanks, Kyle. Did I also see that Isaac Hobday win
Yeah.
states?
Yeah, in the Special Olympics.
The Special
he won
Olympics.
several events. We're super proud of Isaac, and we'll have him and some others here in December
Awesome.
to honor
Awesome.
them. So
Thank you, guys. We have no presentations at this time. Reports. Craig?
thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to reserve my time for the end of the agenda, probably board discussion items or board communications. Either or will work for me. Thank
Okay.
you.
Remind me.
I will.
Are you aware of anything from the IU?
No.
Okay. Jamie, anything from the Career Center?
Yep. I attended the other night. The Northern Tier Career Center is always looking to expand their opportunities. I think the major news there was they were looking at a few new programs and adding space for that. Those programs are, one second, additional space for HVAC and welding, early childhood education, which I think would be a great one for, really hard to get aides and put people into teaching opportunities, and then co-op and diversified occupations.
Okay, thank you. Chris, anything PSBA? Okay. Mr. Barrett?
The only thing left on my agenda from last meeting is we are still working on the assessment appeals with Walmart and Lowe's. We're a little bit farther with Walmart, and I expect to have something on them by the December meeting. Well, I did attend the Pennsylvania School Boards Association Solicitors Workshop a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to be an in-person meeting in central Pennsylvania, but because of the pandemic, it was moved to virtual. And it was quite informative. A lot of things are in the works, and it's a good review. I thank you for sending me. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. At this time, if there's any visitor comments on board action items, please speak up. Okay. Is there a motion and a second to bring item 8, the financials, up to the table for discussion and vote, please?
Chris Jones, make the motion.
Smart second.
Okay. Any questions, concerns, discussion on my financials? Okay, we will vote to approve. When you're ready, Christine?
Mrs. Smart? Yes. Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mrs. Braun?
Yes.
Mr. Karasinowski?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
And Mr. Rude?
Yes.
Okay, the personnel items, item 9. Is a motion and a second to bring that to the table, please?
Lisa Braun, second.
Okay, questions, concerns? Discussion?
The addition of the paraprofessionals, what is the reasoning behind that? I'm just curious. Is it to help with any of the learning loss that we have? What is the reasoning?
Thank you, Mr. Charizowski. These particular personal care aides work one-on-one students, and it's part of their IEP, which requires us to place an aide with them all day. So those are the reasons why we had to add those positions. We've had some enrollments recently that have required us to do so. So we're trying to fill those positions as quickly as possible. Yeah, it will also help, of course, help them in their academic success.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a comment on the addition of some of the extra teachers. So I just want to commend Mr. Stage and the board for adding these extra teachers, helping mediate some of this education loss that we've seen. I think critical to that is lowering these class sizes and getting some individual attention. So I think it's great that it took those opportunities to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook.
Okay, anything else? We will vote to approve. When you're ready, Christine?
Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mrs. Braun?
Yes.
Mr. Charizowski?
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick?
Yes.
Mr. Rude?
Yes.
And Mrs. Smart? Yes.
Okay, item 10, contracts and agreements. Is there a motion and a second for that, please?
So moved.
Lisa Braun.
Thank you.
I need them separated, please, Mr. President.
Yeah, we can separate those two then. Any discussion on either of those?
Just from the athletic committee's point of view for letter B, it was the recommendation of the athletic committee to approve the co-op.
Okay,
How many, or maybe that, don't know exactly, but approximately how many SARE swimmers would that be for boys and girls?
Possibly less than 5, no more than 10. So it's what's signed up versus what actually show up kind of thing.
Is there any impact on us using their facilities as well, or will this be entirely on Athens?
I think this will be entirely on us. With being so few of their students participating, we would have to transport our students over there, and we have a pretty healthy swimming team, both boys and girls. So it makes a lot more sense for us to keep it in our facility, in my opinion. So I do recognize, like, it would be nice to use their pool. It's nice and open, but it makes much more logistical sense to keep it on campus for us. But thank you for that.
I just want to comment, this is again another Band-Aid provided by Athens to SARE, and it's not really solving any of their problems in the future as far as their sports teams.
okay. Craig, I need explanation on the addendum.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we are constantly looking for substitutes to fill in cafeteria aides. So the pay rate, we're looking to change the pay rate and add them to the ESS Northeastern contract. They're the provider for all of our substitutes and contractual day-to-day workers. So this will establish a pay rate and a billing rate. We'll pay anyone who wants to be a cafeteria aide, a substitute will $9 an hour. And that's the discounted bill rate, which was what we'll get billed per hour for those.
Okay. Any other questions on either of those items? Okay, we will vote on item 10A. We will vote to approve. Are you ready, Christine?
Mrs. Braun,
Yes.
Mr. Charismaski,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
and Mr. Westbrook.
Okay. We will vote to approve item 10B. When you're ready, Christine?
Mr. Charismaski,
Yes.
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
No.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook,
Yes.
and Mrs. Braun.
Yes.
Okay, we have no policies or curriculum and instruction items at this time, which brings us to transportation. Is there a motion and a second to bring transportation to the table, please?
Second.
Okay. Any discussions, questions, concerns? Just some additions to the driver list. Okay, we will vote to approve. When you're ready, Christine?
Mr. Frisbee,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
Mrs. Minnick,
Yes.
Mr. Rude,
Yes.
Mrs. Smart,
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook,
Yes.
Mrs. Braun,
Yes.
and Mr. Charismaski.
Yes.
Okay, we have no buildings and grounds items at this time, which brings us to the open comment period. We do have we did do a hybrid for this meeting, and there are two that are signed up to join us by Zoom. We will alternate between them. They're not signed in? They haven't signed in? Okay. So please follow the rules and the 3 minutes. And come on up.
Hello, my name is Brady Lippy. I live at 195 Washington Street, Athens Township. I just have a few different hats I wear. Dad in the district, 3 current students, a couple of Athens alums, teacher at the high school, husband, a fantastic kindergarten teacher up at SRU. So I just wanted to extend my thank you to all you board members. I know that none of you signed up to deal and manage and think through everything that you've had to manage over the last year and a half. It's not easy. It's a mental exhaustion. Some of you have been on the board for 6 months, others 20 plus years. I've known some of you for 30 plus years, went to high school with you. I've coached with some, sat in the stands with several of you. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you with students in the classroom currently. And I just wanted to offer my appreciation and thanks for your time, because it's way more than just here. It's a lot at home, emails, phone calls, time away from your paid job and your careers. So, and your families. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Lipke.
Anybody else?
Hello, my name is Matt Patton. I reside at 702 3rd Street in Athens. I also wear multiple hats in this district. And I also wanted to extend my thanks to you. I'm going to try to explain a little bit of why. I'm not as eloquent as Mr. Licky is, but I'll do my best. I have notes to keep me on track. So my roles, I have many here at the district. I want to focus on 3. I'm a taxpayer in the district. I live here in the borough. It's one of the highest tax municipalities in the county. I'm not saying that as a complaint. I'm just saying that I realized that when I moved there, I want my kids to live there. I want my kids to go to this district. I understand that. I'm a parent. I do have 2 kids in the school district as well, and I'm a teacher at the high school. I do want to talk a little bit about mandate and the fact that I appreciate that you guys consider it. I appreciate the thought that you put into it. I appreciate each one of your opinions as well. I'm impressed with the work that you've done. I'm impressed, frankly, with the amount of the abuse that you have taken, and you've handled it with class, with dignity, and with grace. Thank you for that. As a teacher, having kids in my room is maybe the most important thing in terms of me affecting their education. Following the mandate keeps more kids in my room. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but feel free to ask. Last year, when a kid got quarantined because they were a positive contact, the number of kids that went out with them as close contacts was way higher than it is this year. And whether I like it or not, that's because of the mandate and that we follow it. So I'm grateful for the fact that my kids, my classroom kids, are in my classroom. I appreciate that. As a parent, I can tell you the other side of it as well. Last year, my kid got quarantined 4 times. 4 times, 10 days out. Now, thankfully, there's weekends in there and 3-day weekends, and somehow she timed it around 4-day weekends and holidays. So she didn't miss the full 32 days. As a teacher, that makes me cringe. My kid could have missed 32 days. With the mask mandate, that's not likely to happen this year. And my kid is so grateful for that opportunity. She wants to be in the classroom. She wants to be with her friends. And again, whether I like the mask or not, the only way we accomplish that for as many students as possible is to follow the mandate. Because with or without the mandate, the close contact guidelines don't change. More kids will be forced to sit home. And as I said, as a teacher, that doesn't work for me. As a parent who saw my daughter go through this, the first time, she was scared. The second time, she was annoyed. After that, it was just frustration and anger. So the fact that we're doing what we can to keep our kids in the classroom, I can appreciate that as a parent as well. Lastly, I appreciate you following the mandate as a taxpayer. As I mentioned earlier, Athens Borough has one of the highest taxes for residents in the area. Between the school district and the borough taxes, it's one of the highest. I cringe about that, but I think about the liability the school district would assume if you were to reject the mandate. So I appreciate you looking out for taxpayers, decreasing your liability, and keeping that low as well. So again, thank you very much for giving me the time. Thank you very much for not just the time tonight, but all the time. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Been up here before, I will be up here again. I live at 511 North Main Street in Athens, PA. You all know me very well. I have grave concern about the mandates, and I have grave concern about the FDA passing the, I'm not calling it a vaccine because it is not a vaccine, to 5 to 11-year-olds. We just got off of a 2-week quarantine, 5 school days, okay? The people who she was in contact with weren't sick. They had positive PCR tests, which we know are failing, okay? She's an honor student. She had a great 2 weeks off. We did schoolwork on Zoom. She has great teachers. You all have a great job that you've done, and I appreciate it. But we have to look at the big picture here We are treading on dangerous territory. I have 11 identified facts concerning just the vaccines alone, okay? There's 11 of them here. And you know I come with my data, and I want people to look at the data. Look at what is happening in this country. We also have the Commonwealth coming up with the October 20th, when they had the forum, and it was in front of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. They have not made a decision. According to today's newspaper report, it's going to be January 17th. They're going to list the mandates. If people want the vaccine, get the vaccine. If people want to wear a mask, wear the mask. Have your kids wear the mask, but don't think it's mitigating the problem, because it isn't. And all I want to say is look at the data. Look at the censored doctors that are out there. I'll start with myocarditis, Dr. Peter McCullough. Look at what he has come up with. Look at Rashid Butchard, Sherry Tenpenny. I can name 10 docs right off the list, and look at Dr. David Martin. He did a whole chronological podcast the other night on November 6th, and it talks all about what is being taken away from us, our liberties, and our Constitution is totally being trashed. So all you history teachers, look at 1938, because we've been involved with this a couple of times already. I will definitely offer this to you. It's got the list.
Sorry.
Thanks.
About another 10, 15 seconds, but wrap it up, please.
Emergency does not create power. Emergency does not increase granted power or remove or diminish the restrictions imposed upon power granted or reserved. The Constitution was adopted in a period of grave emergency. Read our Constitution. Read Pennsylvania's Constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Next up is board communications. If I recall, this is where Craig wanted to talk again, right?
If I could just have a few moments of everyone's time. Just want to go through a couple small items. You will notice that there will be concrete trucks at Harlan Road Middle School tomorrow. Our Career Center students from the Northern Tier Career Center will be on site tomorrow to pour the concrete forms and footers for the pavilion that's being constructed outside of Rowe. We're very excited and very grateful that we have actual students who are learning by doing and building that pavilion for us. I want to additional echo Jamie's comments. Adding the teachers we did tonight, and for everyone out there that doesn't have the agenda in front of them, we actually added 3 teachers. The main purpose of those teachers is to create a fundamental basis of learning in the most vulnerable populations that we have, and that's our students in K through 2. Keeping those class sizes as small as possible are critical to us to stemming the unfinished learning and learning loss that we've had over the pandemic. So kudos to this board. The one additional teacher that we have hired will be responsible for those students that are in quarantine and working with them daily to keep them up to speed and up to date until we can find a solution to limit or shorten quarantine times. This was our solution to provide one-on-one care for those students as well. Again, testament to the board and their caring and understanding of what our students need in the time of greatest need. So thank you to all of you. Our students, thank you, and our staff, thank you. Finally, I got 2 more things. We are looking, and I seek, and I will put a resolution on the December agenda. I am seeking 3 additional school social workers through a contract through the Northern Tier Counseling Center, which is where we currently hold our contract with for school social workers. Understanding that there's a severe social, emotional, mental health issue. We want to allow students to lessen the stigma of being it's okay to not be okay and have someone that they can talk to and develop relationships with counselors. We need that, especially now more than ever, and we're going to utilize our existing contract with NTC. We can have that discussion in December, but you will see that on the December agenda. Thank you for that. To the board members that are leaving, Mr. Westbrook and Mr. Johnson, I just want to send a thank you for your service. Although this is your last board meeting, your term ends on November 30th, so there are probably times that I will bug you, and you will have to be bugged by me. Thank you for your years. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for your selfless giving of your time, your energy, and your mind. I appreciate you. I will end by stating that we did get a press release, an official statement from Governor Wolf that states that he anticipates to lift the mitigation order that requires universal wearing of masks K-12 on January 17th. At that time, we will revert back to our original and existing health and safety plan unless something changes. My faith in the governor has waned. He also encouraged all students 5 to 11 and parents of students who have children 5 to 11 to be vaccinated. The Athens Area School District does not require vaccinations. If you see any social media advertising or marketing, it is a result of encouraging vaccinations but not requiring vaccinations, and that will be the end of that. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. So there's just the board communications, some field trips, transfers, our enrollment numbers. Are there any other board discussion items at this time? Okay, our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 7th at 7 p.m. here. It is the board reorganization meeting. We will have a quick executive session for personnel following this meeting. If there's nothing else,